Coming at you from Scratch a Wolf Studio. It's that time again to rage across the internet. It's your very favorite Werewolf the Apocalypse podcast. As always, I'm your host, Porter. To my left, the man with the reddest nose in town, Mr. Daniel Tyson.
Hey, everybody.
To my right, the man with the reddest... You know what? We don't talk about that anymore. Mr. Tommy Dixon.
Please don't talk about that anymore.
But, hey.
The statute of limitations hasn't reached yet.
Ain't that the truth?
Jeez.
But hey, we are not here alone today. This is kind of a special episode. I think a couple ways around, because it is a week for us recording, behind the scenes base. It is like a week before Christmas.
Exactly.
Yes. Yep. So this is kind of our own little holiday special, right? To record.
That, yeah.
And it's going to air, like, I think.
Right after New Year's?
I think it's maybe right after New Year's.
Jesus. I don't know. I got to figure out the schedule.
Happy New Year!
Well, I think we've done this before, but fuck it, kiss until we're sure.
Yeah.
Happy New Year again. So who do we have with us? We have the stars of, two of the stars of Wherever Gaia Takes Us. Melissa and CJ. How you guys doing?
Hi.
Doing good.
Merry Christmas from the Great White North.
And not from Texas, though.
No.
I guess screw us,
Texas.
right?
The Great
Thanks a lot,
Brown
CJ.
You still got nothing.
Right?
Yeah, not much after that. Like, Christmas might as well have come and gone by now. And yeah, so Happy New Year's from Texas.
Hey, there you go.
Probably heard your fair share of gunshots and fireworks by now.
I hope so.
I hate
That's the only way to ring in the new year.
Oh, God, no.
Gunshots and fireworks, that's the best way to do it.
I think that's the first album for 50% of Forever, actually.
Gunshots and fireworks?
Oh,
Perfect.
I'm going to keep the meta of that fake band alive. I don't even care.
Trademark, reach across the internet.
So yeah, this is kind of our cast party.
Cast party, I like it.
Yeah. No, we're a while back. Not too far back ago. Though.
No.
But we talked about taking questions, and that's what we're here. We're here to provide answers now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you guys sent those in.
And thank you.
And keep them coming as, the episodes air.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because we will do another one.
Yeah, we'll do another one. That's cool.
As, once we compile enough of these, we will definitely keep making more.
And I'm sure it's going to be, this is going to be fun already. Already, we've had a good time. We haven't answered shit. So, I guess before we crack into that, it is important to say, thank you for all the questions. Thank you for listening, because, that's a big deal. And if you like what you hear and you're in a position to support, you can do that through our Ko-Fi, ko-fi.com/rage across the internet. Danny looks very ill right now, and I think it's because
you're shilling.
Is it because I'm shilling, Danny?
I hate shilling, but it sucks. But we kind of need to shill.
Look, yeah, it's like I'm sorry, guys. It's got to get done though. Your support, it means it's a huge deal.
It's such a big deal, and we hate asking, but at the same time, we show our appreciation for your support. So, if you do want to support, we have...
I can you just pick that up.
Mm-hmm.
How many tiers, Danny?
4 tiers.
Okay.
We have rewards for you.
Well, they're gifts. They're not really rewards.
All right, I'll take the gifts.
It's a, hey, you did something nice for me. I'm going to do something nice for you. It's a little quid pro quo, Clarice.
Nice.
You bring the fava beans, I'll bring the Chianti.
Oh,
you just had to
that
do
was
the noise.
Creepy.
You just had to do the noise.
If you can, you should.
I get it.
Oh, that was so creepy, though.
Have the lamb stop screaming,
And our
Danny.
2 guest stars here actually back us.
That's true. They are backers. They're long-term backers.
It's true. Mel's been doing it almost since the beginning.
Yeah. It's very little, and I get to watch really bad movies. The only time I've ever seen these movies, once a month.
And it's
and hang out with other people, which I don't do either.
We have a good time.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
And you know, it looks like I think it is, I mean, I think it's fair to say every January you get to watch Space Camp and Suburban Sasquatch.
It's birthday traditions.
That's true.
It might be different this year. Probably not, but
Probably
it
not.
might be.
But again, birthday tradition. So
That's right. It's me and
Compared to
Danny.
the last one, it's a little less of a fever trip.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Well, again, we say January because Porter and my birthday are like 4 days apart.
So it's one of those, like, for Danny's birthday, he gets to choose a movie. And for Porter's birthday, he gets to choose a movie. So guess what? It's Space Cop and Suburban Sasquatch. 2 years running. We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see
I
what
was
year
gonna say,
three.
at least 2 years so far, but it's good times. And then more than movie nights, we have the game team,
Yep.
which we're playing all the time. It's a lot of fun. It's mostly DBD.
Yeah, but and there's no but. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
But it's,
You want to run around, try not to get killed by us or try to kill us. That's where DBD and the game team comes in.
right. You know, I mean, we have our open ones, open for everybody, but the game team, that's you guys get the privilege of disturbing us whenever you want to.
I'm bored. Play a game with me.
Exactly.
pretty much
It's like, yeah, you have our gamer tags and you just get to hit us up and bother us whenever you want.
That's pretty much it right there. Yeah.
When is the game team gonna start playing WoW? Because I would join the game team to play WoW with you guys.
You know what?
Well, shit. since
Ask
you
all the
said
people that haven't been backing. This is their chance to change that.
Yeah.
There we go. Come on.
Well, since that's a
'Cause
thing,
I
I guess
don't
I gotta
play
make a
DBD.
WoW account.
Well,
If it becomes a
if
thing,
it becomes
I'll
a
do it.
thing, all right, there you
I'll
go.
do it.
My big return to WoW. Oh boy. I haven't played since Lich King.
You know what though? Because I played since vanilla and I played for a long fucking time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I retired, but I
Retired.
had a guild for years and years and years, and I would be tempted, even though, to maybe petition to rename that guild
Mm.
or start a new one specifically for RAI. Get the official RAI WoW guild.
Like I said,
I
if
would so
enough
join
people
that.
sign up for it to do that, I would make a new account. Or a account altogether.
Oh, I'd have to make a new one. Mine's long gone.
Rage Across Azeroth.
There you go. That is a perfect name.
Rah!
That'll be our war chant every time.
Yeah.
And it's got to be just like that.
Yep.
Rah!
Even better than movie nights and game teams is our postmortem series.
That's our gold tier.
Second to last. And our postmortem series, the very first games Tom and I got to play under Porter as a storyteller, and those games ran for 3-4 years.
It's somewhere around there. I think
Somewhere
3 or 4
around
years, yeah.
So-
Math is ridiculous, but somewhere around there.
5 Chronicles worth.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. We get to relive those stories. Before this Let's Play now, we didn't get to play for a long time.
Yeah.
So doing the postmortem series and getting to relive those games was so much fun. It still is. We're doing it still once a month. And going through these stories and reliving, rehashing out everything that happened, maybe seeing some things in perspective that we didn't see the first time. Like, holy shit, how did I miss that?
Well, it's a behind the scenes also.
Mhm.
You know, it's a retrospective. It's sort of a replay. It's a whole lot of things.
Yeah. And considering where this episode's coming out, I think,
It's Rise of the Lunatics 2 for December, I believe.
Mhm.
yeah, so the ones who just got this last episode, holy shit for you guys. Holy shit. Because I know what's about to happen, and we haven't recorded it yet.
That's later.
Yeah, it's
But
later today.
It's later today, so, oh man, that's going to be so much fun.
Now, CJ, you have access to the postmortems.
Yes, I do. And as a storyteller myself, I don't know why, but it's just a really, really great source of inspiration for some stuff that if I'm ever looking for just a simple little plot that I want to run, hey, here's some postmortems here's some games that were run, and from what I hear from Danny and Tom, were run successfully and were fun. But hey, maybe with some minor work and adaptation, I might be able to use myself. And so far, it's turned out pretty well. And it helped me get back into storytelling, to be honest.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that great?
That's so cool to hear.
That was an excellent read, CJ. Thank you.
Your $5 checks
Hey,
in the
I tried my
mail.
best. You gave me the one page. That was enough.
What'd you bribe him with? $5?
I couldn't help myself.
Lunch?
It was
Is
right
that what you
there.
did?
Steak knife set.
Yeah,
Suck it, Grant.
yeah, right. It's got Grant's name on it too. This is the show you're getting today, guys. We're just going to have a lot of fun.
Oh, shit. That's awesome.
And then finally, to round that off real quick, because
Yeah.
let's get this on the road, is the Moon Silver Tier, which is our NPC of the Month Club, which is an NPC out of My Character Bible that has been rewritten, quote, remastered, I suppose you could say.
Remastered's a good one.
The
And,
ultimate edition of them.
Yep. Because, I've reused, you tweak things in settings and, but this is the definitive edition of a character sent your way. And I know, CJ, I believe you get that too?
Yes, I do, and it's why if you ever talk to any of my players on the server, you'll probably hear another version of Dead Man Dempsey running around there. There's now 2 of them.
Isn't that neat?
Beautiful. That's so awesome.
I think that's cool, yeah.
It
To
is-
see, to know that people have adapted that stuff and are actually getting to use it. Because, that's kind of the point.
Well, yeah, very much the point. It's why we started the whole thing.
Well, not to give them my NPCs, but
No, but to let them use to adapt and use as inspiration.
right. So, and
So
yeah,
it's
those
working.
are hopefully detailed in a way, that they're whatever. Anyway, that's the kind of gifts, the kind of stuff. We've talked way too much about our Ko-Fi this time, but we've been kind of light on shilling lately. So, oops, we got through it.
Yep.
It's a great way to help. If you can't help that way, please just spread the word, talk us up, tell your friends. If you're on message boards or fucking Discord groups, bring us up.
Yes.
Send people our way. Get more people into Werewolf. Get more people to love Werewolf.
That's all we ask.
Yep.
You listening is a big deal, and we appreciate that already.
Come to our Discord and hang out because, there's people who show up and hang out every now and then. There's people who hang out a lot, and it's like, it's great. You're making new friends. You're trading ideas, having fun, joking around. I mean, we did like an hour or 2 on action movies the other day. Like, it doesn't all have to be World of Darkness. We have fun, we hang out, and that's great. It's bringing people together.
That's all we ask. Good friends, good times.
Right. So without further ado, how about we make a show, everybody?
It's about time.
That's not what we're doing?
I mean, that's the plan.
Is that why I'm here?
It is. It's crazy.
All right. So we mentioned we took a whole bunch of questions. We asked you for them. You sent them in. Thank you. And we're going to give as many of these questions as we can that weren't like redundant and repeats, and everyone's getting their credit.
We'll find out. I mean, you could just decide to not or lie about who said them.
You'll never know.
Abe Lincoln asks, how old's everybody? Fuck it.
Wow.
I didn't know Abe Lincoln was on our Discord.
He is now.
7 questions ago, man.
Perfect.
Great. Yeah,
That was nice. All right. First, then, would be from Splats and Snaps. What year, roughly, does this game even take place?
1993.
Which is kind of funny, because we knew that. You told us, but we never actually recorded it.
Yeah, I did. Oops.
Oops, slipped through the cracks.
Yeah, and it's a well-known fact at this point that Porter likes setting his games in the 90s.
And for several reasons. First off, most of the players, just traditionally,
Mm-hmm.
grew up in the 90s. So there's that level of nostalgia there. Don't shake your head. I said most. I'm talking about a career, not today. Not the 4 of you. I'm talking about for the last couple decades. So but even then, you're on the
We get to use payphones.
right. Well, that's part of it too.
Come on.
There's that level of nostalgia for the 90s because most of the players have lived through the 90s. We could use grow up, we could find.
That was a hefty eye roll.
Whatever.
The computer just shook. Jesus.
There is the familiarity with the era, albeit romanticized or not. Usually romanticized, though, which you can play in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the technology is in that sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big deal, too. To where you're not likely to have a cell phone on you. You might have a beeper, and that's a little adorable. But you don't, probably.
No.
You don't. So
Not with
You're-
the age group that we are at.
you're
Car
in a
phones?
situation.
Car phones were a thing.
Right. But again,
Yeah, not cell phones. Car phones, though.
but even then,
Yeah. You don't have a freaking camera in your pocket.
exactly. So we don't have to worry about the world of veil breaches and technology and the overabundance of technology. You have a situation where, say, Crimson Ghost has to sneak in to use the payphone or the landline in the shop while there are actual black spirals patrolling the street. and hide behind the counter to hope he doesn't get caught, or they notice that the phone has been moved from the top of the desk to behind the desk. That creates tension. The idea of having to run to get to a payphone and hope that the guys you were tailing are still there or will still be there when help shows. It's shit like that. It's the little things. The devil's in the details. And I think that makes it, I don't want to say more difficult, but certainly less convenient, which makes for a better story.
Yeah. Much more dramatic.
Yeah.
I mean, and
More
also
problems to solve.
and in the 90s, there's the little towns that don't really have technology. They're still old school.
Yeah, the internet's still kind of a baby. HTTP ...
I mean, it's good luck finding a computer.
Yeah,
That's never going to catch on.
Oh, and the dial-up modems. Oh, God.
Oh, I want that as a soundbite.
Oh, we should have that as a soundbite. I like that already.
Oh, God, what's wrong with you guys?
It's awesome, and there's going to be a bunch of people that don't know what it is.
And then when
at the clock,
and when it finishes, I want to hit the "You've got mail."
Oh,
Because when you logged in and your internet connected, AOL instantly went, "You got mail."
I was actually thinking one of our other sound bites after it to subvert the expectation.
Oh, okay, all right. We could work on that.
We could work on that.
Let's not.
All right, that can be just for us.
Fine.
Could be like an official text tone or ringtone for the cast of the show.
That would be fun.
All right, next question.
Next question.
Yep.
This one's from Dundee. What's the overall plot?
Well, it's what the story's about.
Porter. What is the overall plot?
Yes, us players would love to know.
Well, I think the best answer is tune in.
Perfect.
That's mean. He's got a point.
Yeah.
You tune in and show up to game, and you'll find out. Because you guys can work it all out together.
Yeah, it's not like he's going to tell us. I mean, he's not going to tell the audience. He's not going to tell us. We're playing the game. We learn the plot as we're going.
Okay. Tune in and find out.
Next. Riesly. Hey guys, absolutely loved the first episode. I'm curious about beginning scenes. Knowing that your game would be a Let's Play, how did you find yourselves approaching it differently than you would your normal tabletop or online game?
I'd like to hear from you guys first, if you got anything to say about that.
Okay. For me, it's not too... I'm playing it not too terribly different. If I was STing it, I'd definitely be trying to do a lot more than I normally would. But as a player, it's more just show up, try to play normally and not talk over anybody, because that might give Danny an extra headache that he doesn't need.
Appreciate that.
Overall, it's just a normal game that I'm getting to enjoy, so not too different.
I guess for me, the only other something I have to compare it to was our previous game that if you want to listen to, get on those postmortems and on our Ko-Fi. But it's very much, I need to learn how to be Ricochet and not play as Jaeger. I'm still in that transition of trying to play one where they're not the same person. So that's really the only thing I have to compare it to, but I think I'm doing a pretty okay job so far.
All right. Mel?
For me, it's really no different. I mean, I've been playing in this sort of format for about, almost 3 years now with Stride's game and then running a game myself. So it's kind of like, this is it's just being aware that I'm being recorded, and it's kind of like, well, can I say that? Should I not say that? Like, I feel like I have to check myself a little bit, but in the end, I just play my character. I did exactly what I always do when I create a character. I have a character sheet and I wrote out a very long background and I submitted all that stuff to Porter. So it's exactly what I normally would do, whether it was tabletop or online.
Tomas?
Ooh, using my full name. Wow.
Ole. Tomas Ole Dixon.
I think the biggest thing is obviously, we're recording this and it's on air. And it's different due to, usually you'll know the backstories of all of your PCs, all the player characters that are with us. So we don't really need to go over those in game. But now, being that this is recorded and on air for people, we kind of have to do a little more interactions and give away bits of our backstory as we go. So it's definitely a little different because we have to spoon feed kind of what everyone's backstory is and get to know each other better. So it's a little more in depth. than a normal game. It's a little more in depth. Other than that, though, it still plays the same. I mean, running by NST's rules, stuff like that, it still plays the same way it should. Just it's just being recorded. It's a bit different. It's the only way to put it. It makes it a bit different.
It's kind of a pain in the ass almost.
Not really. I wouldn't say it's a pain. I mean, it's a pain in the ass for you because you got to edit it. I understand that
too. But you're right. It's almost like spoon feeding some of the back stories, and because we're interacting. I mean, clearly, I hope you guys hear that with these stories,
and hopefully it's not too boring sometimes. But it needs to be said.
Yeah, that's a bigger part.
Porter,
I just gotta clean up the racial slurs.
that's all you gotta do.
Sorry, I had that in the chamber. No, I approach it the same way. The same as I do a regular game. You know, I'm aware that, obviously, they're being recorded. I'm in front of a fucking microphone. But
I have to make sure I'm right next to the microphone. So, sometimes I'm not, and it's getting noticed.
Yeah, right. Like, that's the biggest concern. But I know, like, there's programs like Roll20 and shit like that people use. And, like, you know, you guys have noticed that I won't.
No, I like live dice. It's just the feeling of dice in your hand.
Yeah, and like I know it's like, I know there are advantages to it. Like I'm not talking shit on programs like Roll20. I just don't use them.
It's not your style.
Right, it's not my style. On the day, if everyone was around this table, I'm playing the game. I'm telling the story the same way I would, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
As far as you guys talking about the character development, I think we need more of it. You know, I mean, that's just me, you know, we get those scenes and, I hand you guys those scenes where I'm forcing you to interact because I'm not going to move the story until you fucking do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, there's times there's going to be room for heart to heart type of shit with you guys. I mean, these are characters that didn't know each other. So you're going to have to get to know each other and get to trust each other. And that's part of it too. So like you guys worry about it's too much, like, but I disagree, especially in the beginning and you see we roll it out as time. I think that's a good thing.
That's a fair point.
Mm-hmm. I think it's tricky finding that moment to reveal an aspect of yourself. And it's just because the story is moving along and you are, trying to keep up with figuring out what's going on. And I know you've said in the past, Porters, that we're not going to solve this in a session. So it's just finding that moment to tell your fellow players a little bit of who you are as a character, and then without like it derailing or like diverting away from the story itself. And I think that's just the balance we need to find.
No, I agree.
Because we're all new players to each other.
Right.
I've never played with any of you before.
Yeah, I mean, I just met all you guys, so.
You did hand me $20 to come sit in front of a microphone, so.
More than true. I got.
Lived in, he was, I found him in the dumpster.
That's where you got that song.
Look, I got nothing.
I was going to say,
I got a mug.
Ricochet is Bonar.
Well, it's the exchange rate, so.
Oh.
You were actually the highest paid. It's just with the exchange rate, it doesn't come out the same. Next question.
So, final conclusion. More player interactions. Got it.
Well, that's the thing also is, obviously we'll go to the next question, but that's the thing also is we didn't read each other's write-ups.
Right.
So we do need to do more of that interaction.
Exactly. Yeah, you guys did. Yeah, that's intentional because why would you guys know that? You didn't start together.
Right.
You converged to a singular point. So I wasn't busting balls. I'm just saying and Mel's right. It's got to happen organically.
All right, then. In Kidu the Noah, in episode 1, the characters are collecting firewood and making fires and looking for shelter. Why? Why not just sleep in Lupus and just be done with it?
I would love to answer that in your guys' behalf.
Sure.
Because I feel like it's my job to defend you guys on this one.
Yeah.
You have to remember that these characters are all fresh off the rite of passages, and they're all Hamid. They don't have, it didn't occur to them. They're still thinking like humans. That's a thing. I mean, we as players have the luxury of going, well, obviously that's the smarter decision.
Mm-hmm.
Duh. But the characters are not the players. You can't use player knowledge. The characters wouldn't have thought of that yet. They're still young. Cut them some slack.
Not only that, but go ahead, CJ.
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking from a Night Fang's perspective, even if he is a werewolf now, even if he is Garu and has access to all the forms, he's still thinking like a Hamid, like a human. And it might just be more comfortable for him to sleep in his breed form. So that's always a little thing that could happen.
100% agree on that. Not only that, but like we also said we were going to eat. So the fire was to cook our food. I mean, we don't have to cook it.
But again, that's the
human mentality.
Right.
How else am I going to practice my survival instincts and try to get more dots in them? There's another thing.
I mean, there's an out-of-character answer.
It's an out-of-character answer, yes, but
But-
think about it. I mean, you got to do the things to get more dots in them, or else you don't.
No, it's a good point. But there you go.
I don't want to say too much about my character because I know we wanted this to do it normally, but Cassie is a runaway. So this is how she survived before she became a werewolf. So it's intrinsic knowledge for her because she would hide in the wilderness and for days. And all she'd do was forage and forage and forage and forage and try to keep warm until somebody came and found her again and dragged her back to the foster home she came from. So this is sort of what she does. And to see some of the city boys who clearly have no ability to survive, she's not going to let that happen. So that's why the firework, the firewood and food and shelter was very important to her.
Solid. See, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
No, thanks for chipping in on that. But what do we got?
All right, next.
What's the next, man?
This one's from Christy. What is everyone's favorite and least favorite part or scene or interaction so far, and why?
Okay.
Let's go around the table, Danny. Start that.
All right. I think for me, it would have been the end of 3-3 when we're defeating the quote-unquote threat.
I like you keeping this vague because we're not sure where this is airing in regards to that episode.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, man. So
you got a while till that one airs. That's
so
not
maybe
till end
I
of
don't
January.
even say that part yet.
That's not till like end of January.
Oh, boy.
Well, you can keep it vague. Like you have so far.
Okay, fine. I'll just say that Ricochet gets to show off why that name came about.
So that's your favorite.
I for me so far, yeah. Because when thinking of like the name for the character, that was the first thing that popped in my head. I was trying to think of like signature things that Ricochet would be doing, and a lot of that comes to do with combat. I mean, I look at Jaeger even, like, he's got a certain move that he does all the time when it comes to combat. Kind of wanted the same thing for Ricochet, so it was the first thing that came in my head, and it was this is the first time I got to use that. And again, trying to keep it vague because it's I forgot it's not coming out until after this episode.
Yeah, but you had an awesome combat moment.
Yeah.
We know. I mean, we were there, but
and it felt good, and I was like, wow, I really got to portray that. And yeah, so that's, for me, that was fun. I got to do it. So far, for me, that was my favorite. I think the least favorite, and I know this is aired already, so it would be the pregnant leg, because that freaked me out, but it was still really cool imagery.
Nice.
And also with Mel being able to act all that out as it was happening too. It was super impressive. So I guess that's kind of also a favorite part. But like in my head, it was not so favorite because it's gross and disgusting.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Donnie.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, he's coming back.
We got a celebrity guest in the studio. Get out of here, Connery. You can't make me.
Don't forget to sign my James Bond collection before you leave.
Okay.
The whole thing.
Suck it, Tyson.
Nice.
So my least favorite,
What was?
because I want to just jump on.
All right.
I don't want them stealing it from me.
I'm jumping the line,
I'm
folks.
jumping the line because I don't want them stealing it from me. Everybody left me when I was inspecting the hood.
Yeah.
Everybody just runs away.
Right? This seems dangerous. Run away!
See, here's the thing, and I'm going to jump on this really fast.
I know why, and I know why you went with them.
Again, it was more of protection, but the way you built your character, he's fast, so if he needed to catch up, he can do it.
Right.
You assume.
You assume.
Yes, I assumed.
But as your player, you didn't know that.
No, you're right. I was assuming as a player, too.
But yeah, that was definitely my least favorite when we're not a pack yet, but our group abandoned me. and I had a threat.
Sorry.
It happens. It's fine. My favorite, though, is the scene with when we walk back into the start of 2-1.
Please elaborate, because
Yeah.
there's been so
It already
many so
aired.
far.
Help us out.
Right at the beginning of the scene, where he just starts whooping that whole pack's ass.
Oh,
Shit.
yeah. Okay.
Yup.
That has got to be my favorite part so far. He's such a badass.
And you could say,
Just dodging the bullet and
Yeah.
he breaks his arm, dodges the bullet. Like, he just manhandles that guy like he's nothing.
yeah, Tim's being coy here, but he's talking about the fight between Falling Leaf, Twilight, and Farfor.
Yeah.
They're like, Farfor got his ass kicked.
That's an understatement.
Yeah.
Because he was still in Hamid. Dude. Sorry, but Falling Leaf. Mad props to him on that. That was my favorite moment so far.
CJ.
It's a little hard to nail down specifically what my favorite moment would be, but honestly, favorite moment from, I would have to say at this very moment, favorite moment would be when me and Mel split off, or when Hippolyta Shadow and Nightfang split off to go after the guy, because that was one of the times of where I had to make the mental distinction between, a new character, and I've been playing for a while now. I know this is a dumb idea, but I get to make this idea anyway happen.
It's
And
a
just
solid
getting to
point.
see the reactions from that. That was a lot of fun. Yes, there are many other moments like Falling Leaf getting to smack down Farfor there. That was fucking great. Or
We didn't
when
get
we
to see him
actually
smack
took
down
out
the
the
rest
cedar.
of them, but...
It's assumed. But yeah, least favorite, honestly, I would have to say it would have to be when we got out of the car at the very beginning, just because still filling out characters and not my proudest moment as a player, but otherwise nothing I can really point to for my least favorite.
All right.
Solid.
Mel?
I was listening to everybody and I'm like, I have no idea. I think my least favorite moment is the bones as my character. Melissa would never split off from a party, but my character would definitely go after that guy. And that's what her main thought is I'm going to track this guy down and I'm going to make him pay for whatever he's done. I'm going to make him pay. And so that, I think, was my least favorite part. I have to say my favorite part is the Spudlings.
That's your favorite part?
Yes,
Oh, come on, that was
and let
funny.
me explain.
Please.
It was funny, and I got to be the Ragabash because we were all standing outside of the cave, and we're all going like, "Okay, what are we gonna do?" Like, and I'm like, "Oh, for God's sakes, I'm just gonna do it." And I got down, and I got in there, and I engaged, and yes, I may have ended up with a leg that was a little bit grossing, a pregnant leg.
You got a leg up. It was fine.
But.
CJ got
But
the leg up.
I felt like I had done something that we needed to do, that was important, and it was just an overall interesting aspect of the game. So I was like, yeah, this is really, and I'm sitting here on the other side going, I know what this is, but I can't say that because I don't know in character. But I was like, that's my favorite. Yeah. The Spudlings, because they're so cute.
And
See,
the amount
They
of
smashed up pretty well.
still doing it. I was just gonna say the amount of potato jokes we made that day,
It was a good day.
That still happens.
and it's still happening currently.
For me, and it's pretty close. It's that first game. I had that story laid out,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, okay, you're either going to go after the guy or you're going to go after the monster. And you guys managed to do both and neither.
God,
Is this your favorite or
No, this is my least favorite.
least favorite?
him and I talked the next day. He was so mad, but like so happy that he was mad.
It was very, like I had planned it. Either way, I got it covered and it's going to be awesome. And I've got great hooks for both sides. No matter what happens, this is going to be great. And you guys are like, fuck you, Porter.
Yeah.
Joke's on you, dick. And so I had to scramble. And the funny thing is that that singular moment. Here's, some extra behind the scenes. I don't think anyone asked this, but
Sure, why not, though?
that threw off my rhythm as a storyteller.
Yeah.
Until the end of chapter 3.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I think we've all had fun and we've enjoyed the game so far. I fucking hope you guys keep coming back. I don't know what, but yeah, it completely fucked the rhythm of my games until I could right the ship at the end of chapter 3.
Which is nuts.
New player characters. You don't know how some of them play, so.
It's so I made it work. Cool. And that's important to be able to make it work when your plans go awry. But I thought I had the bases covered.
Yeah.
I did not expect you guys to, again, do both and neither. Like you did half of both of them and pulled a shoe Horus.
Well, Strider,
if you're really going to pull shores, we'd end it right there.
Right? However, I will not.
And that's the end of the episode.
Hey,
so we'll see.
I, however, will not pull a shoe horse. And my favorite moment, actually, Melissa, was the pregnant buck.
So weird.
When me and Mel were in the cave?
Yeah. But that specific moment, when I said pregnant buck, and Tom gets this look on his face, and I go, I know what I said. And then it hit you. That Porter didn't make a mistake and not know that. No, there's a male deer here with
Yep.
So that moment, and when it kind of, when they got born,
Then it just,
when the birth happened,
I was
was very proud of that.
Yeah.
That's when that thing was wishing for some hairspray and a lighter.
That'd have been cool. I'd have made you roll for that. Someone got lit up.
Fry up some swedlings.
French ride.
Oh, the
But
potato
Far 4
jokes.
wasn't introduced. It wasn't there.
Yeah, I was going to say, Far 4 wasn't there yet. Sacre bleu.
Jeez.
What's next?
All right. So this next question, man, I don't even know who this is from. This is weird. This is Melissa? This is from Melissa?
Melissa?
Someone asking her own question.
Right? Let's make her answer it.
Yeah, you're have to answer this now. Melissa says,
for a friend.
given that the players roll
I'll be your friend.
Given that the players roll 1 dice for initiative, how does Spirit of the Fray work? Do you add 10 automatically?
Yes.
Okay.
Look, I will give away, and this is kind of a spoiler for an upcoming book. Like, I actually worked on it recently, and I know we have not discussed this, so this is exclusive to you guys too, because it hasn't been relevant yet.
Mm-hmm.
You get your specialties at 4 and 4 dots in a thing, and there are 2 stats who I have made specialties that will up your initiative rating by 1.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, that's neat.
You don't get to, we're not going to talk about it on air right now, but,
fair.
So instead of, your 10s count up,
Mm-hmm.
instead of that, you're sacrificing a specialty like that in exchange for an extra 1 to your passive to your initiative.
That's cool. Neat. That's different.
But so fresh in the game that it's not relevant yet.
Right.
So, which is why we haven't gone over it.
All right, so that was a pretty easy answer. Thanks, Melissa, for the question.
It's Melissa.
Melissa?
All right. Paralyzer says, which fate is worse? To be Fomoride or to be Ghouled?
Well, this is a fun one. I think this is pretty obvious. Being Ghouled is worse because then you have to play Vampire.
Let's play Dracula's.
Yeah, you do. You have to be Dracula's.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And the Gold Book is nowhere near as cool as the Freak Legion book, I'll be honest.
The Freak Legion just sounds better.
Yeah, but when you're Fomoride, you're fully possessed. You don't have control of that anymore.
No, but you're not in control of yourself in Werewolf the Apocalypse and not in Umpire the Masquerade.
Okay.
We'll just leave it at that, I guess. Tracer Smith says, can you break down your rules on banking rage? I remember it being covered before, but I have forgotten the details.
Was it covered before? I know I've been hesitant about this.
Is he talking about the, exploding rage point? Or whatever it's called?
I think he's talking about banking a rage in between turns.
Oh.
I think that's what he's asking.
Yeah, he's asking about the combat system, about rage. And the rage banking is a big part of my combat system.
Mm-hmm.
I don't...
Do we?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because there's a book
in the works.
Yeah. And like, I feel like if I would love to talk about it. I've talked about it a little bit here and there.
So can we do it vaguely enough where it's not going to ruin anything?
Shit.
So,
I guess I can say comfortably, I think without giving too much away, is it's a system of gambling a rage point in exchange for being able to take defensive action. And this cuts out the splitting of dice pools, which is a pain in the ass and sometimes can be
very confusing. And
people could take advantage of that. But also, it eliminates the question, can I dodge?
Yeah. No, you can't.
You already know the answer. Did you bank a rage? Then you have the answer. If you didn't, no, you can't. I found that was a question that got asked and would waylay the game
far too many times.
Yep.
Constantly, I'm sure.
So we develop a system where we cut out that middleman. You know the answer. And again, with my combat system, which again, so we can get into, it's a lot of it is about giving players freedom to be really creative in rewarding that creativity. That sound about right to CJ Mouse? Sound about right to you guys?
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
It's a fun little potential interrupt to cause some really interesting scenes to happen where you could potentially save somebody's life, or if a botch rolls, could make it even worse.
Right. And it's worth noting, actually, and I'm really proud of this. I'm going to gush about this a little bit. Both Melissa and CJ have adapted my combat system into their games. That's correct, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So there you go. Like they liked it enough, they're doing it.
I mean, it's far enough away from the original combat system, but at the same time,
it's also not.
It's a smoother flow.
It's a simplified version, but
it's a lot more cinematic.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just that. It's time, too. Because the combat system in the World of Darkness is very clunky indeed. Before I started playing Porter's game, I was finding that when I was running, we'd have players who were taking 3-4 turns by splitting their dice pool. Now we know we can't do that on a rage action. That's in the rules and that's not happening. But what they were doing is they were spending, they were splitting their dice pool 3 times because they knew they had enough, and 3-4 times at least. And then on top of that, taking rage actions. So combat was taking forever for something that should have taken minutes. And when I started thinking more seriously about, I've been constantly thinking about changing the rules for combat, coming across Porter's system, and it makes 100 times more sense. And I'm not doing this to kind of give Porter I want more XP or anything like that. But
I cannot be bought.
But it does make more sense. Now, I'm going to be running Changeling. I don't know how that's going to work in Changeling.
I don't.
Changeling's a different ball of wax. But if I ever go return to playing or to running Werewolf again, I am definitely going to institute it from the very beginning.
Yeah, like we said, it's a simplified, it's an easier flow, and it's faster, and it's more cinematic. So
yeah, that's how that was the thought process behind it. And I brought CJ and Mel into that because I know they did that, and for me, I had never shared my combat system with other storytellers before. So to have a couple of storytellers that I know and respect go, that's awesome, and I'm taking it. Can I use that for my games? That was a huge, for me, that was a big honor.
Yeah.
Not only that,
but it's good. It's good. I've been playing with different systems or different options for years. This isn't something I've just decided randomly. I've been trying to make it better for years, and you just managed in one game to completely.
Well, it took me longer than a game to get the system down, but
you've been kind of tweaking the system a little bit here and there for almost years now.
Oh, for a long time, because nothing's perfect, and you run into a situation you didn't think of or what. But
so there's certain gifts that'll definitely waylay the system a little bit with the way they work, but
you have to tweak them.
Yeah, you tweak it and you make it work.
Yeah, and that's a case by case situation too.
Yeah, and hence why I asked about the Spirit of the Fray for a friend.
Yeah, for a friend, not total. Yeah,
for a friend.
But yeah, you had that right on the money. That's exactly what I do. With Spirit of the Fray just adds 10. That person goes first, unless there's another person with Spirit of the Fray, and then you get to do the stupid bidding more.
Then just you two roll against each other,
right? But then again, that's why also with the 2 specialties, because some people are faster than others.
Right.
And if you make it a specialty, now you have to choose whether or not you're going for that speed over something like lightning reflexes or, a specialty that could maybe help in combat or help somewhere else. It's like a talent point, if you will. I mean, but that's what kind of specialties are.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Not only that, but like we look at, CJML who have adapted this system and use it where it's got to be like a nice validation for you.
That's what I'm saying. It's a fucking honor. I'm thrilled about it. But I mean, and I think we should probably move on from there because I'll just start talking and I'm not supposed to because, there might be a book coming out pretty soon that details that system properly.
All right. Then the next question from Magnus. Do you script out each episode to make sure you end on a cliffhanger? How many sessions do you record at a time? And is there any plan on making the episodes longer?
Okay.
There's a lot to unpack there.
I like that questions. I like those, though. No, I don't.
Start off with to script each episode to make sure you end on a cliffhanger.
Okay. No. Like I said, I try not to do anything differently in my process with the show in mind. But, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I didn't think about it a little. I try not to do it that way.
We've gotten lucky, that's for sure. There's been quite a few times.
There's been coincidences.
We were like, that's a perfect ending, and click.
and really, that's behind the scenes how that happens to get to you guys in the show. I don't plan, I'm not writing 4 mini stories for one session.
Right.
And to answer the question with the sessions, we sit down like about once a month and we do a story. Chapter 1 was one session. Chapter 2 was one session. Chapter 3 was one session. That's how that works. And we cut those
accordingly.
Yeah.
For chapter 1, there was only 2 parts.
But
that's just how long that it took us to record chapter 1 in the one day.
And that was the one where we threw him off on which route we went.
Right. Like there was way more story to that. You guys just fucked me over.
We shoehorced a thing.
and then we looked chapter 2, chapter 3. Both had 3 parts. But again, we started recording, and that's just how long that story took that day.
Right. And we made cuts in recording, but for file size and, it's been enough time. Let's chop these files up.
Right.
Because we know we're breaking them apart. But I don't plan 2-1, 2-2, 2-3 in advance. No. It's chapter 2 and it's going to get cut in hour and a half sections. As far as longer episodes, I think right now we have no plans of doing that.
It's difficult. 1, you said it's file size.
Right.
And 2, it's where does it make sense for us in the story? Also, editing. Editing is a pain in the ass.
Well, and then here's the other thing. For me, it's most people, I'm assuming, I don't know your life story. I assume most people don't have time to sift through a 4 or 5 hour story.
No way.
That would take forever.
Right. Like you're not going to listen to that 5. There's like maybe 10 of you who have the time to sit there and would rather have all of chapter 3 in one file. But I think most of our audience doesn't have time to listen to that. So it was a decision we made to stick to between an hour and a half long episode, somewhere in that around the same length of a normal episode. Because you guys already listened to a normal size episode. So we know you have time for that.
And we made that decision back when we first started the podcast. And we were going half hour, 45 minutes. And then okay, this is...
Well, we had that poll way in the beginning.
Right.
And I don't remember how many people answered it, but we asked, how long. And everyone but one person said, talk as long as you want. We're going to be here. And then one person was like 35 minutes and nothing more.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well.
One person.
It was one person. Everyone else said, just do whatever you want. We love it. Which was very nice.
Yeah. But again, it's what makes sense for us.
Right. So, and I would rather, look, you can go to the YouTube channel and we have a playlist just of those. If you're working Apple Podcasts, and I know a lot of you don't, but I also know that statistically that's the largest venue.
Yeah.
If you're downloading those like I do with my podcasts, you can do them by name. And that's why we did them differently.
Right.
So you could just order them by name and boom, there's the RP series. You can listen to them right like that. So you can, if you want to. We gave you avenues to just hear the actual plays in a big chunk, but I don't want to do a 3-hour episode that someone's going to have to take a week to listen to.
You're right. No, I agree.
It's going to ruin the pacing. It's going to ruin, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get through that.
Probably not.
Then there's also the timing for us, I'd say. Getting 2 episodes out of a session a month by the time, those 2 episodes go out, it's game time again. And then that's, we got to play the game. Danny's got to then start editing the game. So like in the next week, the next episode's out, and it would just be a never-ending cycle for Danny there.
No, it's true. And I'm not going to lie. Like behind the scenes, we had discussed how beneficial it is for us in our workload to do the every other week format, because now we're only responsible for half as many standard episodes a year. And that really cuts the pressure off of us in time of, like, you talk about editing and prep work and research. And yeah.
If like a particular episode gets cursed and is lost, well, you now have at least 2 others that you can fill that slot with.
Right. And yeah, that's true too. With emergencies, we could just do 2 weeks in a row of wherever Gaia takes us, because shit happens, or vice versa. But yeah, there's a production factor too. Yes.
Fingers crossed that never fucking happens.
Oh,
but.
yeah. CJ better knock on wood. He put that out into the world with cursed episodes.
All right, next.
Yeah.
All right, then this one's from Derp. Is the town around which the pack currently is secretly controlled by a wild cult?
I'm just gonna say no.
That's it? Just gonna leave it there?
Like, yeah, I'm just gonna say no. Like, I'd imagine if something was what is isn't a cult kind of organized for the wild?
That's a little too organized for the wild.
Like, I'd imagine if it was like a wild controlled town, everyone would be running around in like various degrees of clothing, and none of that clothing would match. And like things would just be blowing up and
post-apocalyptic.
It would be a Michael Bay movie.
It would.
It would be like a Weaver-sponsored demolition derby.
Nice.
I want to see that now.
But even if it was, you have to turn in to find out.
Yeah, like what is going on with the town is something that you'll find out in the future, or slowly as we go on.
The answer might be no. We can always change that.
I mean, I won't, but it's definitely not a wild cult.
Well, there's a few more from Derp here. So the next one would be, what's the likelihood of there being any other supernaturals from other game lines making an appearance?
How do you know there haven't been already?
We don't.
Ooh. Mystery.
We have no clue.
So I guess the answer is
classic red herring porter.
Yes. Listen and find out.
Yep, that's the answer.
Yeah, that's
every other Tuesday. In fact, just tune in every Tuesday. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, see? And then lastly, if a tree gorgon falls in the woods, but no one's around to see or hear it, does it really make a sound?
I would think it makes an oof sound.
That's if he falls in Canada.
I mean, I'd imagine it grows legs and walks away.
Yeah.
Those are good answers.
That's it. That's all. I'm not even going to bother.
I am Groot.
That was actually pretty good.
Thank you.
That was actually almost sounded like a soundbite. It's not.
No.
Can be.
He lost his notes.
That's fine.
I think that page was done anyway.
Yeah, that was the end of that page.
Yeah, we did a fun full disclosure, because we went through all those questions. And again, thank you guys so much for sending those in. And I organized them from people who just had one question or maybe a multi-part question. Mm-hmm. And then we had some people who just flooded us with questions, which is fucking awesome. But now those are done in different sections now. So we're past the...
Well, almost. We're at the next part. So, because we do have a few more from... These are from Agisandro.
See, it's more than one, though. Sections, see?
This first one says, I love these episodes. I noticed Porter never established a difficulty, but everyone knew their successes. Is that established off camera, or by now the standard diff 6 was used?
Yeah, it's standard diff.
Yeah,
if not specifically said, it's standard diff.
Yeah, I was going to say, if he doesn't say what the diff is when we roll, we know it's 6. Doesn't matter what we're rolling at that point.
Right.
Then the next one from Aegis is, as far as I know, the first time Porter, Danny, and Tommy role-playing with other people, how is this experience? And would you play or narrate in other games after the experience of this one?
I mean, we've played with other people, but that was all in person, but not online. So
yeah, that's the only difference. It's because we're playing online.
And we're recording this.
Yeah, and recording it, which we talked about in the beginning.
So we jumped 2 big hoops there.
And a lot of it's like interactions. Like, if we're around this table, we can tell some of their interactions because we're doing that live. Mm-hmm. It's not as easy to do with CJML because we're recording. It's over the internet. They don't really see some of our...
Yeah, the physical
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of times in our older games when it's around the table, we would do physical interactions. Like if someone's having a rough time, they would ball up and they would sit there and rock. I know you did a few things where you put your hood up and you were rocking because you had issues.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just
Thanks. Issues.
issues in the game.
You know,
but that's
I know.
the thing.
I'm laughing at it.
You are doing physical and that's the biggest hurdle for us, I guess I should say, is now we have to emote that some way, somehow, through our voice instead of...
Right.
So it makes it a little more... I miss the physical part of it. I do miss that.
I agree.
To be honest, that's why I have put my camera on. I would never put my camera on, but I felt that you needed to see my face expression or some physical gestures, as I can see on your end, when something comes up that needs to... Yes, because normally I would hide behind my screen.
Then the next set of questions, these are from Business Casual Arsonist.
I love the name. I'm sorry, but Arsonist, I love your name. Just business casual.
Why did no one make the obvious puppy in the van joke?
I mean, we made the kids in the van with the old guy and Candy.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we did make the joke. It was just,
But it just
other ways
wasn't
around
puppies.
it.
Yeah, it just wasn't puppies. It was still candy. We made an attempt at a joke.
Given that this is in the 90s, how likely are we to see butterfly hair clips and inflatable furniture?
50-50, but I'll tell you right now,
There will be a beanbag.
if they do show up, that's for you, buddy. I do have an NPC who may or may not arrive who looks just like Joey Lawrence.
Perfect.
So,
Whoa!
exactly.
There will be some hair clips. I'm telling you, I'm gonna walk into a room one of these times and he's gonna specifically say there's a beanbag chair.
Probably. So,
I had a big one in the 90s.
And this is obviously from a certain part in the story, but is Leg pregnant?
I love how that was phrased. Is Leg pregnant?
Which I think the next episode after that, yes.
Yeah. No,
it was answered, so. You have a pregnant leg, I think was the exact words.
Which, and again, was another part I was pretty proud of.
That was a good scene for cutting that open.
It was a very good scene.
Yep. Just the idea of Cassie going to the back of
A diner.
into the diner's restroom to perform. I'm not even going to say surgery.
No, it wasn't even surgery. It was just cut leg open and see what happens.
I like the moment where there's, well, can you help? It's like, yeah, I'll just follow the teenage girl into the bathroom in front of all of these people.
It's such a good answer.
Right? No one will suspect a thing.
No, of course not. Oh, boy. All right. And now we have a pretty good sized list from Andre.
Thanks, Andre.
Some would say huge.
Each.
Huge.
Do you feel like you are playing your characters differently considering that these are your second characters? And obviously,
Yeah,
probably second
That's to us.
to us, me and Tom here. I'm trying. I've probably...
You've gotten better. You struggled at first.
Yeah, I was going to say, I won't even say probably. I know I did it, where I would combine the two and act as Jaeger instead of Ricochet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have caught myself mentally. I don't think I've done it yet, but I've caught myself mentally many times where I've wanted to do the ghost thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't because this isn't Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
So I've caught myself a few times, but I don't think I've made the mistake yet. I feel like I'm playing this character the way I wanted to, but I could definitely be a little more sassy.
And there's time for growth.
Yeah.
So.
And then, that's what we're working on.
Luckily enough, my characters have been drastically different enough that there's no real risk of blending so much, but it's just getting out of the forever ST mindset and back into the mindset of a player.
Well, and your character, CJ, that's something, and I feel like there's a question later that this is better,
Mm-hmm.
but we're gonna
Put a pin in it.
we're gonna pin in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mel, anything from you?
Is this your, 10th character?
No, not even. I have been playing since, Werewolf started, first published. And this has got to be I couldn't even tell you how many werewolf characters I've had over the years. But I chose this tribe specifically for Porter.
Ooh.
That's sweet. That's nice of you. She's like, how can I irritate him the most? But then luckily she didn't do the worst one.
No. I tried to show you that all Black Furies are not, man-hating.
Yeah, but I never legitimately suggested that they were. See, now you're giving me a bad name because people are going to take that and run.
No. I'm just putting it out there in the universe that it is possible to play a Black Fury who actually cares about people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's showing people another side of the Black Furies.
Yeah, yeah, no one here said otherwise.
Ever.
Yeah.
No, not at all. No,
I just need that super because again, people will hear the version of that they want to hear
and run with it.
And suddenly I punched 12 women.
Melissa says I chose this tribe specifically for Porter because I did the podcast with Porter and Danny. I can't remember if Tom was involved in it.
I was not.
About the Black Furies.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed, that was my first ever podcast with these guys. And that's why I wanted to play a Black Fury. But yeah, with Porter in mind.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it was a great episode. And we talked about it. And it was
we were glad to have you on that one.
Yeah. I think our quarrels with that was the tribe book specifically, not with how people play it.
It's just, the way that book is written. It's written in the way that it's painting the tribe that way. So
it's one of those like the Charlie Gaia book where it's like the book does not do them and the tribe any favors.
Not at all.
Anyway,
so next one from Andre. What's the role where Porter asks for odds or evens?
Oh, it's a good one.
Yes, I guess behind the scenes, behind the screen rather, is the shit happens role.
It's the best way of putting it, though.
No, it is.
It is the best way of putting it.
It's the crazy random happenstance kind of role.
It
Because
could go one way, it could go the other. So
right. And so I go odds or evens to see if it's a positive or negative outcome. And then I allow someone around the table to decide that outcome, not knowing what the fuck they're going with. And this is a way kind of to absolve myself. I'm not picking on anyone because I didn't choose the outcome. I rolled a die and let you choose the outcome. It's like it's an extra barrier to keep it random happenstance.
Keep it more organic.
Right. Did you trip over, a root in the woods? That's something that could randomly happen because you weren't paying attention. Boom. If you're in a big battle scene, did you get hit with an arrow or a stray bullet? That shit can happen. Odds or evens. You did or you didn't.
I like it that way because again, you're
It's
not
like double blind.
Right. There you go. You're not forcing yourself to move the story in a certain direction. You're letting the story happen. So you have two possible outcomes. You just don't know which one to use. Let the die decide.
Right.
Next one from Andre would be, was the meat hook in the forest a Dead by Daylight reference?
No. I get where I get where that comes from, but no, it wasn't.
You could see why.
No, I could. It dawned on me that if this was something that was going to be multiple occasion, that would be practical for
said.
Yeah, like I don't want to get further into that.
Keeping its food cleaner by not being on the ground.
Sure, Tom.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, a branch could break.
It's true, especially with the way that thing was.
So it was my way of letting you know that this was not an isolated incident.
All right, then the next question, and it's kind of like a two-parter here. Why a monkey gecko monster, and what inspired you when you created it? It has kind of like a xenomorph feeling to it, at least for me. Speaking for Andre here.
Yeah. No. I want to talk about the cedar. That is an original creation. Obviously, you're not going to find that in a book. I was inspired. I was listening to a lot of creepypasta, a lot of true crime, which has been kind of my MO for this game. There are other themes too, but I don't want to get into those because I don't want to set you guys afloat. Yeah,
away.
Exactly. Yeah. The original Inspirato was a creepypasta called I think it was called The Seed Eater. Oh. And so the similarities are the name and the fact that it enthralls people to feed it. And that was the end. But so I looked at that and I said, okay, well, if I'm turning this into a Gorgon, first of all, I want to play up the organics.
Oh, big time.
So, I decided I didn't understand where the seed part of this thing's name came from. So when I decided to keep the name the Cedar, that's where I came up with the idea of it doesn't give, it doesn't mate, it plants. So I went the whole plant route. And then the idea with the pineapple skin was that I thought it would be a great to have those be little seed packets. So it's like it's pollinating.
So fucking weird.
You know, so like it scratches you and the seeds from those scales get into your body and that's how it happens.
So creepy.
It's so weird.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then, I thought that kind of triangular head of the gecko attached to like that powerful fucking, so I just thought that was neat. And so that was the cedar.
Next question from Andre is, how did Ricochet's previous pack die? Obviously, just specifically for me here, part of my backstory was that the previous pack was just 4 other cubs thrown in their rite of passage. And in that rite of passage, they succeeded, but then they were ambushed by spirals. And he was the only one to survive. So, I guess just a long story short, because again, that's the backstory, but that's how they died. They were ambushed, and Ricochet's mentor came and saved him, but only enough time to save him and nobody else. And there's nothing anyone else can say to that question because it was geared specifically for me. Then the next question is, does the pack come from the same sept or cairn or from different ones?
Thanks for listening to the podcast. No, they came from different spots and were drawn together to a central location where they met Falling Leaf.
That's it.
Due to our visions.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I got to throw in thanks for listening to the podcast. And it's been a while since we've been able to do that.
That's true.
And the last one from Andre, your character has to 1v1 an NPC from any game that you've been a part of. Which are you choosing and who would win? This is awesome. Go around the table?
Sure.
The only thing I can think of is if I would make them same rank, same strength, I think I would go Jaeger versus Ricochet.
Jaeger would fuck him up.
I know Jaeger would fuck him up, but I think it would be cool as hell.
Fuck him up with one hand tied, but oops.
Oh, bummer. But yeah.
But he still probably would.
It would be the missing arm. So.
No. Even with his not missing arm, he still have the sword.
And his teeth?
He'd still mess him up. He'd still mess him up.
But again, you're looking at, I'm looking at same rank, same strength, like even odds here.
All right, so rank 5, so you have that one gift.
No, I'm not even looking at gifts. I just think them like sparring with each other kind of thing. And Jaeger would still fuck him up.
Oh, fuck yeah, he would.
Yeah. Siege?
It's a hard one considering the amount of games that I've actually been in. So I'm just going to go for a classic Philodox fight. Night Fang versus one of Ghostfall's NPCs, Smiles at the Stars. Another Stargazer Philodox, who was almost a child of Gaia with how much of a pacifist he was at times. So I would love to see him actually fight.
Or maybe he wouldn't and you just want the easy W.
Yep.
Mel, what you got?
Everybody knows I'm a huge Get a Fenris fan. So I would have to choose Golgol Fangs first. Like, against my character, and my character would die. She would lie down and honorably die.
That's fair.
Get awesome.
But it would be such an honor to die at his hands.
Would she get an autograph first?
Yes, absolutely. Just carve into my flesh.
I was just going to say that.
I think that part's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
I had answered this off air, but I'm going to change it now. Because I think it would be more beneficial to the character to fight this person. And it's going to be Sekhmet Rainmaker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't go well.
No, it wouldn't, but it'd be beneficial to the character because he might learn a thing.
See, it's funny you say that because I hadn't even considered this question until right now.
Mm.
And now I know the answer is, and this was before you said it, okay? So I didn't steal from you.
Okay.
Would be Farfor and Sekhmet.
Oh.
Holy shit.
Like you guys ain't seen much of him yet, but I am very fond of Farfor. And I think that would be some brutal fucking sell some tickets to shit.
That's another reason why, because Sekhmet would just destroy me. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't even matter if we're the same rank.
That's a 2-hit fight. He hits you, you hit the ground.
Yep. But I think he'd learn a thing, and he'd be humbled by another Strider.
Okay. I don't know if I've heard those two words, like Sekhmet and humble, in the same sentence.
You said pummeled wrong.
Oh, yeah, you got a point.
Is there any NPCs that you would think of other than what you just said? You got a whole lot new ones in this game.
I do, but we got a whole lot of questions.
Fair enough.
I think Farfor versus Sekhmet is enough of a fucking... I'd pay money to see that.
All right. Then we have another set from Drake. At this point, how far from their first change are the characters?
Not
very far at all.
Not very
Less
far
than
at
a
all.
month. Like probably aggressively less than a month,
Yeah,
but
probably a couple of weeks.
yeah, they're still green, still wet behind the ears.
How long have they been Garu? Well, then at that point, yeah.
Yeah, that's
A
the
few
same
more
question.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A few more weeks.
Are you guys actually a pack yet? Or just a group working together?
Well, technically, you guys are still a group working together. That coming soon though.
Yeah, you can't
Hang
establish
in
a
there.
pack without a
Yeah.
totem. So
That might be the premise of chapter 4. Who knows?
Well, hey. So yeah, that's the answer. We're just a group working together because we don't have a pack name, we don't have a totem yet. As
And
far as
sometimes
this
we don't
recording
even
goes.
work together.
That's it's
yeah.
true.
It's like
Yeah.
3/4 of the time.
That said, you guys do have a pack name. We just aren't saying it yet because you don't have it in game.
Yeah, it's
Right.
I'm excited for that reveal though. That's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun.
Very fun. I'm happy about it.
All right, next one from Drake. Will we ever have access to seeing character sheets for the PCs so we can see the gift names, the merits, the specialties, and all those like? And if so, where will they be posted?
We have been talking about this.
We're on the fence.
Yeah, there's a version where, and it might end up on the forums. The sheets themselves might end up on the forums anyway. I have been planning to, but have not found the time/motivation to create an extra section on the website dedicated to the game. So that's where a lot of the information about, setting NPCs, shit like that, if someone wants to come in and get the quick, but again, time and motivation, time
Time's the biggest
and
thing.
motivation
In time.
and time.
Yeah. The crazy thing is we don't have a lot of time.
It's a lot of work.
You're still writing a story, so
Like we got shit to do in our days. I want to do it. We'll see. This is the hope.
Then to piggyback off that, will we get a basic breakdown of the reoccurring NPCs as they show?
I just said that. Yeah, it would be on that fictional website section.
Again, I'm just reading the questions. I was piggybacking off
yeah.
it. So, and then lastly from Drake, I'm assuming the guy in the wolf mask wasn't just some guy, considering how hard he was to take down. So what was going on there? Was he a Gorgon as well, or someone possessed? Or maybe enthralled and empowered in some way?
See, I can just answer that. That's not big time spoilers. It's just, it was a gorehound.
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
just go around.
I know this group. I'm sure all of these, your characters don't know that because they don't know what a gorehound is. But
Right.
like, there's no way that you guys didn't
Yeah.
go, that's just a gorehound. That's fine.
That's why when I was
and-
attacking it, I had to gradually attack it because I knew what it was, but
right?
Yeah,
I had to
Like, it was pretty on the nose.
I had to play it off like I don't know what that is.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that's the bigger part. We were trying to play it off as the characters who had no fucking clue,
Mhm.
but we do.
Well, obviously it came through though because the question was asked, so we played
Right.
it through properly.
Which that's good.
Mhm.
Good on us.
Yeah, I figure that's a kind of question. It's not really a spoiler because either you already knew what it was or you didn't, but knowing what it is doesn't damage. It's not a spoiler for anything.
Right.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
especially now because it's already released.
right. Yeah. So yeah, just type a Famor known as a gorehound.
It was a dude.
Yep.
Original.
Just yeah,
But he's not a ghoul, so he got the better end of that deal.
right. The wolf mask was just for flourish.
All right, then from Spins the Black Circle. In episode 2, my question is motivation. I understand what the Black Fury might be interested in following and stopping the human, especially one that's killing females, but what motivation would someone like Nightfang, for example, care about humans killing one another, and enough care to risk themselves for one? I would have trouble finding any motivation to help humans even if they were hurting each other, because of werewolf mentality.
And that last part is definitely something to consider, but once again, as we've covered, Nightfang's only been a werewolf for like a month at most.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. We're still
Yeah.
very fresh Garu here.
Yeah.
We still have human mentality to compete with.
Yeah, and Nightfang specifically was thinking, hey, here's this guy, he's coming out here, hanging up these bodies, killing these kids. It's a fucking kid. I need to stop this. And going after that guy would be the fastest way to stop it. Because at the time, he didn't know about the cedar.
Yeah. He specifically says for episode 2, so which would be chapter 1, part 2 there.
Right.
Yeah, and if he gets to be the hero because he's keeping kids from being murdered, that's bonus for him.
Well, and this was something that I wanted to bring up because, and I think this is the one to do it.
Yeah.
I don't remember now. I know we have more. But, it's part of, Nightfang's MO. Same with the, I'm not even going to say deed name because that shit's a code name. I know we had talked about it. So if I'm overstepping, and please get me use your character, so you correct me if and when, right? Like if I overstep, but you were absolutely going with that mentality. And it's something that I've talked about in the past that you never see it is, as a 16-year-old who could turn into a werewolf, this man thinks he's a superhero.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Nightfang is his code name. That is a royalty-free Nightwing.
Right.
I did not put 2 and 2 together on that.
Oh yeah, think about it. That's not a Yaru name. That's a superhero name.
Yeah, I did not even put 2 together.
I'm Nightfang.
And he's already getting shit for it and having some mild second thoughts.
Which just goes back to more character growth.
No, exactly. And I think it's super cool. I love that he did. I love that CJ went that way because you never see it. And why don't you ever see that? The emotional maturity of a fucking 14-year-old or whatever to learn that they can shift into a werewolf. Half of them should be wearing capes when they're found.
That's true.
Has our shopping trip with the Salvation Army happened yet?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a reason why he went for the Batman shirt.
That's fantastic. I didn't even think about that.
None of us got that.
Devil's in the details.
Jeez.
Nicely done, CJ.
Right? I got to tip my hat to the man.
All right, then. Go ahead.
I have to say, just as an aside, it wasn't, the Black Fury didn't go after it because it was a female. She went after it because Cassie is, by and large, a protector of both male and female. And she's done that to Ricochet when he needs money. or something. She has a little bit of money and she would have happily paid for whatever he needs. Or because she's kind of sees Ricochet as, someone she needs to kind of, just look over. And she looks at that to all of them. And, it's not that it's because it's a female. I think that's kind of missing the mark on this, but it's definitely because it was a child.
Protector.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was in her background as well, like extensively in her background, that she was always protecting the other children in her foster homes to the point where she was looking like she was very aggressive and angry.
I respect the shit out of the decision for that character.
Yeah.
All right. Then the last one from Spins the Black Circle, healing. The scene of removing the bullets. Why dig them out? Wouldn't the werewolf ability just heal and regenerate and allow you to eject the bullets? Well,
again, thanks for listening to the podcast. This is something we've talked about a couple times too, is, according to whichever core book you're going to pick up. Yeah, that's not good enough for me.
No,
it's too simple.
It's too simple, and it's too much of a cop out. It's easy. It's too easy.
Yeah. Right. A major theme, there's so many different directions and themes, in werewolf you could focus on, but something I choose to make sure is always somewhere in the periphery is that being a guy fucking sucks. And part of that is, having to dig buckshot out of your stomach because it's going to heal over that shit instead of popping it out. And you're just going to have a belly full of buckshot until the urgency of having to perform a certain level of like battlefield surgery is important. The idea of if someone loses their leg, right, and you take that leg and put it next to the stump and use mother's touch and they're going to be all right. I mean, that's how that works mechanically.
It's a cop-out thing, though.
Right, but see, in my game, no, you have to set that leg because otherwise, if you just put it next to it, it'll heal. But, it's going to heal wrong and crooked because the bone, you didn't match it up. You didn't line it up. You didn't sew anything together. So that thing healed wrong. You got a weird, 90-degree angle in the middle of your fucking thigh. And when the battle's over, you're going to have to re-break that or just be deformed.
You've said it. Several occasions and why you do this. Mother's Touch being a level 1 gift.
Oh, it's so overpowered.
It's so overpowered. The ceiling's way too fucking high for it.
I mean, seriously, that'll cure your herpes.
Thanks.
I didn't see you made that personal. You gave yourself away. But
you had to say your herpes though.
It was the understood you. You took it personally. But no, like, you get a severed arm, you get herpes. Both of Mother's Touch will take care of both of them. Fuck it. No big deal. And it's the same role.
And it's just being a rank 1 gift. It's just, you got to make it a little more difficult.
And it puts more danger into the world where you don't have that magic touch that puts you back together again.
In me knowing your stuff, I made sure I had dots in medicine.
It's more interesting. I mean, let's go to the postmortems for a second.
Okay.
There was one we've already gone over it, but there was a particular job where some NPCs you guys were working with got shot up in a very real way.
Mm-hmm.
And you're on a moving train in this scene, right? And you're still being shot at.
But they have silver bullets in them.
Right.
Not just regular bullets.
Yeah, they're loaded with the hot shit. And you guys are pulling bullets out of someone's spine so you can then use Mother's Touch.
Yeah.
So you're not fusing the wound with a silver bullet, It's
going to constantly deal ag no matter what.
Right. So
on
the moving train being shot at, having to pull bullets out of somebody's body so you can save their lives. That's far more exciting than rolling Dex Med one time.
Cured.
It's in my mind, it makes for great little scenes of character growth and development. Because I mean, what's going to bring a pack closer together than having to reach your arm in to pull buckshot out of their stomach?
Yeah, we definitely grew closer that day.
Right.
And you get those funny moments of here's your pack alpha laying down, had a silver bullet shot in his gut. His beta's pulling out the bullet, and he could just, look to him and say, "You could have bought me dinner first."
Love it.
Mel, I see you've got something on the tip of your tongue.
I absolutely hate this. Like, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I love everything about your game. That is the one thing that I don't like. And that just annoys me to no end. And it's because maybe I've played Theurges for so long. And, Mother's Touch is really, Grandmother's Touch is really the only 2 healing spells that you have in the game. And Mother's Touch, I don't consider it particularly overpowered. The difficulty is against the person's current rage.
Right.
And that can be very, there is an expenditure of gnosis that, you have to give up a precious part of you to heal. But at the same time, I don't agree. But that's okay because I'm okay. It's okay for me to disagree on this one.
No, it is. It is okay.
I'm not the storyteller. I don't get to make the rules. I just get to I just play. But in my own game, this is the only thing I don't use.
I think it's a shame that you don't, but that's also fine. Because again, it's fine that we can disagree. I look back and I think I first came up with it. I'll keep this quick because I know we still got a lot of shit to cover. I think back to When Will You Rage? And there was the story where, and I'm going to spare all the details, but, there's the main character and he's driving the other character, trying to get her help, trying to get her to the hospital. He did a trach because she got hurt, obviously. So he's trying to keep her alive. And it's like he could have just, by the rules, just used Mother's Touch and she would have been totally fine. And all that scene, all the tenseness of that scene is just gone. Because you could just use Mother's Touch. Now, of course, you still can use Mother's Touch. It heals it. Mm-hmm. It's just
different.
Yeah. It's.
Yeah. Or if it's just like regular bullets in your stomach, you could shift up to Glabro or whatever and be fine for the fight. And then it's after the scene that you need to do the emergency surgery. Now, but Silver.
Yeah. Silver's a different animal.
Case.
Yeah.
Yeah. We look at in Chapter 2, the end of Chapter 2 with Mel's leg. You had Mother's Touch done on the leg, so it healed around the seeds, the spudlings.
Mm-hmm.
Which wouldn't have worked otherwise. Yeah, it just would have pushed them out.
The pre-spudlings. The pre-spudlings.
The seeds. You got seeded. And then I messed with Danny about it.
Yeah.
That's what I loved, is you messed with Danny on it.
All right, then go on. Next few are from You Can Call Me Ginger.
Yay, Ginger.
What entity did you sacrifice to be able to get so many successes on all your dice?
Mel.
Yeah, we're looking at you. You have the
This
crazy.
one is specifically for you, lady.
You have the crazy dice.
I have really good dice that really like me.
Did you
But
weight them?
I actually, they are metal, but I also use, and I can't, I'll show everybody. I do have the
You're just showing us.
reproduction werewolf dice. Yeah.
Which is awesome.
And these are the ones I use for most of the rolls. Like I do have my metal dice.
See, I
But-
have originals of those, and they're part of the burial ground set. So
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing different, but
These are the reproduction, and these are the ones I use to roll. And they roll very well for me all the time. And they're just plastic. Yeah, they're really good. And the other ones I have are some pretty purple ones.
and which ones do you
So
dip in
that's-
orphan blood to get the good rolls?
I don't know. Like yesterday when I was playing Dungeons and Dragons, yeah, my rolls were crap as hell.
Well, that's because you were playing
So-
Dungeons and Dragons.
That's
You're using
probably
werewolf
why.
dice at Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
I wasn't. I was using my metal D20s, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they were not rolling well. But yeah, no, I normally use the metal dice and my reproduction dice. So yeah,
All right.
All right.
sorry, I don't do
It's
anything
fine.
special.
It's
I
funny.
don't do anything special. I roll them in my tray. But yeah.
Ginger asks next. Question for Porter. How did Falling Leaf at Twilight get created? Did you take one of those lovable sensei characters like Uncle Iroh?
That's a good question.
God, I love Uncle Iroh.
Oh, so do I. The voice was 100% Uncle Iroh Master Splinter. And that's still where I'm going with it. You know, because when you do the voices, you want them to be distinct.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be like accurate. Like it doesn't have to be a good Scottish accent. It just has to, you know who's talking.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to, I didn't want to lean into it, but then him and Farfor,
A little too close.
yeah, it was the same. There was some crossover, so I'm leaning further into it now. But that's just the voice, obviously. I want the appearance of the kind of Uncle Iroh type character, but and I will say that's clearly the trope. But I'm leaning into the trope, and so is he. And I don't want to say anything more than that. I know some of you have read, you know, Falling Leaf at Twilight was part of the NPC of the Month Club, I think 2 or 3 months ago. By the time this airs, 2 or 3 months ago.
Okay.
And so, like, some of you here in front of microphones know the score with Falling Leaf at Twilight.
hmm
So I'm leaning into that trope, and so is he. And that's as far as I can say. And you'll learn more about him as you go.
That's fair. Then, a question for the pack. How did you feel when it turns out the monster you've been tracking and hunting was actually just a creature of the wild? Weren't creatures surely bad, but it seems not all wild forces create good things per se. Have you ever fought an adversary like this before in another game, perhaps?
I never really thought about it.
I remember doing it in-game. It was very, very quick, so I don't know if it even landed, but it was like, well, if it's not of the worm, why are we even bothering?
I have used the wild in my game for my players. And the one thing that the Book of the Wild tells you is the wild is not your friend. And it's a mistake to think that, you know, the wild, it doesn't have its own agenda. And it really does. It's unchecked creation. And yeah, no, this is just a good example of why the wild is not your friend. You know, it's as bad as anything. It has its own agenda.
To spread more spudlings.
Smuggling!
Like I
We,
said, I
we
remember
had to stop the potatoes, man.
And yeah, like I said, I remember saying it in game. It's like, why do we even bother if it's not of the worm? But at the same time, it is. It's knowing it's the wild and it was essentially taking these children.
It's still corrupting humanity. It
Yeah.
still needed to be dealt with.
Mhm.
It's definitely one of those things that, from a character perspective, especially Nightfang, he's still too new to everything to even know what a Gorgon was until, you know, we encountered one and got a little bit of an info dump. But for the most part, yeah, no, it's doing bad things. Might as well put a stop to it. But at the same time, him learning it was of the wild and, like, surely this thing's got to be of the worm. It did take him a couple minutes to rationalize those two together.
Agreed?
And so far, this is the first time I've actually come up against a creature of the wild in game. Look forward to using it a lot more.
I can say for us, it's not the first time we encountered Gorgon, but it's the first time we've had to fight a Gorgon.
Say deal with one, yeah.
And that's both of that's true. And, you know, and I want to, you know, piggyback, obviously, Melissa's 100% correct. You know, the wild is not your friend. We've talked about that too, but the wild is not Gaia, the wild is not your friend.
Mm-hmm.
It's the lesser of the three evils, though.
Yeah, right. Like it's the thing getting its ass kicked the hardest, and that's why you're on its side, but it is not on your side.
I like that. You're on its side. It's not on your side. All right. Then the next one from Ginger. Since the pack is very food-centric, what are your favorite foods, or what do you think your characters will enjoy eating the most? I'll say Ricochet, being a bonar, will take any burger he can get.
Oh, Tally's finest, man.
Hey, whatever, it's a burger.
CJ?
I'm going to say Night Thing is definitely a fajitas kind of guy.
All right. Mel?
Cassie's very much like Ricochet. She is, because of her history, she'll take whatever she can get.
Just specifically a burger.
Just specifically
a burger, a burger, a sandwich, peanut butter and jelly, whatever.
I mean,
I wouldn't
in the US,
put that
it's
on my
hard not
burger.
to find a burger.
Actually, it's a thing now.
Peanut butter is good on a burger.
See, I'm so afraid to try it.
Dude, try it.
Don't
trust
talk to me.
I love
No.
peanut butter, though.
You're both fired.
Whatever,
I love
it
peanut
was
butter,
delicious.
but
We are now taking auditions for the role of Ricochet and Dante. These
On a
monsters want to
peanut butter-
put peanut butter on a burger.
I wouldn't put peanut butter on a burger either.
That's why you're not
Yeah,
being
no,
replaced.
that's some kind of heresy right there. I'm just going to say that now.
It's kind of
Don't
gross.
knock
but
it till you try it. That's all I'm going to say.
I will
Tom.
knock you off a building.
As
Make a
the
burger.
resident
that's fine.
Texan,
All right, so
as the resident Texan, peanut butter on burger, no go.
I mean, honestly, Dante, he'd eat anything. It doesn't matter. He's used to roaming. He's used to just eating whatever he can find.
See, that's why you in particular should have an answer.
Well, if I had,
And I didn't. Shame on me for not asking it, really.
I mean, PC wise, it's hard to think what exactly he would like. Personally, it's burritos, but
It's good walking food.
he's got a point.
That is actually pretty smart.
I suppose if Cassie had her dream meal, it would be something that she's never had. So probably like a really expensive, I hate to be like cheesy, but a really expensive steak, because she's probably never had that in her entire life.
That's a good answer.
Then the last one from Ginger. Hey, so this is not really a question, but if y'all need a Galliard, just hit me up sometime. So somebody's got to sing your praises or rub your nose in your shortcomings. I already think about the tale of the itchy leg with side of spuds.
Nice. I actually have a response to that.
Thanks, Ginger.
Oh, no, definitely. Thanks, Ginger. But funnily enough, this is something that we have discussed in the past, and we're not ready to roll it out yet, but this is coming down the line.
Mm-hmm.
There will be times when there will be characters that show up temporarily. And so we have talked about the idea of holding a little raffle for some of our high-end backers
Right.
to sit in on the games. So you know what, Ginger? That's entirely possible.
Or even
If-
play a character for a
This
quick
is
time,
this is what we're saying. Yeah, to sit in as in the game, as these characters, a temporary spot. Yeah, for high-end backers. So when that, when the story permits that, y'all will hear about it. So maybe.
That is totally cool.
I thought it would be pretty neat, right?
Okay.
If I wasn't already part of the game, I would up my backing. So, yeah.
Oh, that's what it would take to get up your backing?
You're out.
All right. Then the last set of questions,
Oh, buddy.
and I mean
It's a
set, and
big
I mean
chunk.
like
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
group.
It's a page and a half.
I know
Yeah.
it is.
It is a page and a half of questions from our dear friend Ghostpaw.
Yep, these are all, the rest of these are all going to be from Ghostpaw.
So thank you, man. We asked and you
Delivered.
delivered.
A little over delivered, but I'm not mad
It's
at
fine, yeah.
It's like he's up at his tower hucking rocks at us with notes on him.
it.
Like,
Answer this now.
All right, first, Porter mentioned before that music is the biggest inspiration. What were you listening to for inspiration of this story, and what other inspiration did you take from?
well, I'll tell you what. I had started a playlist on Spotify, and by the time this airs, I'll post a link in the Discord.
Okay.
So like the actual, what I've been listening to but, stuff like Pixies, Radiohead, a couple tracks from the Heavy, some assorted tracks from different bands, like the Heavy, maybe a little Stones, And it's tricky sometimes, because you're like, oh yeah, like painted black. Well, you can't do painted black. Painted black is like, it's overused. You can't do that. But something like Waiting for a Friend. But yeah, I'll actually have that list posted. So anyone who wants to listen to what I was listening to while I'm writing this chronicle, you'll be able to.
That's a cool place. Cool. That's a cool idea.
Yeah, our Discord is a cool place.
All right. Then where is this chronicle located? Besides Fire Lake, because I know you.
It's in Kentucky.
So the next question is it a real place?
No. Kentucky's not real. It's just a myth.
Kentucky doesn't exist.
It's the mass hallucination.
It is. It's the Mandela effect.
Of an entire country.
That's a state. There's no Kentucky.
This is not the Kentucky you were looking for.
Nope. That's a place where they sell fried chicken and nothing else. People just assumed it's a real place.
Chicken bowl.
Why'd you make a bowl out of chicken?
Just anyway, next question.
What's the story behind everyone's deed names? Which I guess we kind of answered in game, didn't we?
Yeah.
He did ask a lot of questions, but some of these were from like the very first episode. Mm-hmm. So
I vaguely mentioned it. I know that.
I know. I don't think I did, but I could be wrong.
By the time this airs, mine's done.
I was gonna say this is just a chance to do that real quick.
Yeah,
doesn't have to be a meal.
Night Fang.
Night Fang was kind of answering.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we already did that one.
Yeah. Well, Ricochet, I had the idea in mind that when his rage gets higher, I don't want to say that he changes form unnecessary, but he does constantly shift back and forth, and it's to control the rage.
I was honestly hoping in Inception that it was because he was always bouncing off the walls. Like he had like super ADD.
I had that idea.
Fingy.
Yeah, you and I talked about that, and it was kind of an idea thrown around, but I wanted to make it more.
Yeah, it was your character, so ultimately it was your call. I was just really hoping to watch Danny bounce off the walls in character, like professionally. It just was fun to me.
I wouldn't be able to hold that very long.
Which is so it's smart that you didn't do it. It just, just in my heart, I was hoping for that.
Well, mine was, I think I vaguely mentioned it, but during my rite of passage, in talking with the strider I was doing my passage with, I mentioned how many people always died around me. And he gave me the deed name of Walks with Anubis, Walks with Death, and made me fuck off after that because he didn't want to die.
Wait, we're hanging around you for what reason now?
I don't know. Maybe you might die.
Good thing you didn't tell that story yet, eh? Maybe it's a new bus this time when you tell them.
Yeah, there we go.
You just like new mass transit. Mel?
The Black Fury's rite of passage is a little different than normal, so they go through challenges. And her last challenge was against Hippolyta, one of the Black Furies that saw her through her rite of passage. And because she's a Ragabash, she became Hippolyta's shadow.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Then, what inspired each of the players to choose their auspice and tribes? Did you guys coordinate beforehand so no one would really overlap?
That's cool. That's another one that Mel already... Look at that. You already covered that one. What? I think we'll have at least half of it, right?
I mean, she wanted the Black Fury due to the... Yeah.
I wanted a Black Fury. I always go get a Fenris. In fact, I had it all set up. I was going to be get a Fenris. I was going to be a Theurge. I was going to be da-da-da-da-da. And Tom said he wanted to be a Theurge for the first time. And I'm like... And then I was already playing a get a Fenris Philodox, and I just didn't want to do it. Like, I didn't want to have two games that were the same. So I'm like, okay, let's try something a little bit different. Let's get out of my wheelhouse. And I rarely play Ragabash. So I decided to play a Black Fury Ragabash.
I think with me, it was... I wanted to go with the complete opposite of the get. So, I went with Bonar. And I'm not really sure why. I just thought it was just a really cool idea because that, and you had mentioned, Porter, none of your players have ever played Bonar before.
That's true.
So I really wanted to try it out. And as far as auspice goes, I was like, I'm already going out of the wheelhouse as far as tribe, let's try and stick a little bit in the wheelhouse when it comes to auspice.
You wanted your safety net.
Mm-hmm.
I hate saying it that way, but yeah, you're probably right.
It's your second character, man. There's no shame in that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
But I absolutely wanted to make him very battle-centric, too. So that kind of, I don't want to say forced, but it was definitely a factor in the decision.
See, and now, instead of Ricochet, because, like, you know, he's always bouncing off the walls all ADD, it's because he's bouncing other people off the walls.
Ooh, don't give him that.
No, I want to give him that. I'm going to give him that.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that. CJ.
For me, it was whenever I was first thinking up a character for this, my gut reaction every time that I ever get the question of, hey, what character do you want to make? It's either a Shadow Lord or Silent Strider Theurge. But seeing as we already had the Silent Strider Theurge, I was like, I don't want to double up there per se, because while you can and still have an interesting story, it was Tom's first Theurge, so I didn't want to step on any of those toes.
Yeah.
You guys are so nice.
It's a little too
And then
nice.
Shadow Lord. Yeah, but that's where I would have gone Shadow Lord, and I was originally thinking Shadow Lord Philodox. But I've played a Shadow Lord before, and I almost went with a bow or Aharon named Nobel, because I ain't hear Nobel.
Oh, shit. Oh, I love that.
But I had already made him as a character for another game in the meantime, so I went with, like, you know what, fuck it. Let's go with something brand new to me, and that was the Stargazer Philodox.
I'm
And
stealing
the
that.
superhero Batman angle came in with the whole idea of, like, Kylan Doe, the Philodox being the judge, justice, and going on that, yeah, I am the knight kick.
I am the knight.
I'm the night kick.
That's awesome.
Nobel.
Seriously, I love that so hard. I'm stealing it. Sorry.
You're welcome.
Look for a
Thank
new
you.
NPC in
Thank
your
you.
future.
Yeah, he might show up.
Tom, what do you got?
Well, most of you guys answered why I picked Thurge, obviously. I wanted to really push my boundaries. I really want, the spirits are so difficult to me. So I'm really trying to push my boundaries on that.
And I'm really excited for that, too, as
Yeah.
we'll
We'll unravel that. That's
like, I
gonna
can't
take
make you
some
go
time.
into the Umbra, so.
I know. We'll unravel that as it goes. That's going to take some time. And I know it bothers Mel.
I'm like, oh my god, why are we not going into the Umbra already? Like,
It's like he's
I am
nervous. He
ready
doesn't know how to
to
swim.
drop kick you into the Umbra.
And then
But-
I picked Strider due to in case there's any scheduling conflicts. I mean, that was the main reason. Sometimes I might not be able to make a game, so there's an easy out for Porter. I had a messenger mission just in case, because I know my scheduling gets really rough come summertime.
Yep.
Well, we got to think, too. Remember, we had planned on doing this game starting just at not the beginning of summer, but midsummer.
That wasn't ready.
And it wasn't, one wasn't ready, and then we had planned the hiatus, so that pushed back a couple months already.
Oh, but again, I mean, that is ultimately the reason is to work around any scheduling conflicts. And fortunately, by the time that might be a problem, we will be so established enough that it will be way easier to justify those absences in game.
Right.
Exactly what I was getting at.
Yep.
That's why it was actually kind of perfect where we started, because winter is the easier season.
Right.
So, then the next question, because I guess that's pretty much everyone, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. What totem is the pack considering?
That's it? That's the question?
What totem is the pack considering if you are considering?
Oh, well, we're considering.
Mm.
But Porter should answer this one.
Yes,
Yes.
this is one of these things we've talked about before, but it bears repeating. How I run the games is I will have the players each secretly, and it's honor system, but fucking secretly, don't discuss it.
Yeah.
We haven't. At least I haven't.
No, I believe you
I
guys,
haven't.
but you
I
know,
want to.
just for everyone else,
Mhm.
I'm
you know,
dying to.
is to make a list of their favorite totem choices, and that list changes. Like the number fluctuates based on how many people are in the game.
Sure.
But then, you know, I give them point totals. So like if it's 5 totems, the number 1 spot gets 5 points. The number 5 spot gets 1 point. You add them up and there is almost always overlap. I've been storytelling werewolf for, like 30 fucking years or so.
And there's been overlap up until now.
Yeah. Every time in multiples, except this time. This is the only time I get to do whatever I want.
Which is fun.
Right. Like, that's the audible I called, because like really, certainly if there's going to be a 5-way tie for first place.
Mm-hmm.
So like I can choose any one of those 5, or I can just choose whatever I want, really.
Mhm.
But that's how I do it. And so they have no idea what their totem is. And that's why you keep it secret when you do that with your groups. Because if they talk, they can coordinate and choose a totem, and I suppose it's one that everyone wants. But the idea behind doing it that way is it's still a surprise to everybody.
Because the totem chooses you.
Right. And because there's overlap, again, 99% of the time, multiple people are getting someone they want.
Yes.
But it's still a surprise, and it's the totem choosing you, not everyone going, hey, let's go with Fenris because I like the buffs that it gives.
Yeah, it makes it just a little less gamey and a little more story-based.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
So they're going to be surprised very soon.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Because then we can actually talk about it.
I can't wait to tell. Yeah, because I want to know what other people sent to Porter, because I know what I sent to Porter, and I'm like, I want to know what other people sent.
Well, once we actually figure it out, we can just tell each other.
Well, the best part is Porter and I talk almost every single day, and I was the last one to give him my choices, and he goes, "I have a feeling you pick A, B, C, and D," and he was 3 out of 4.
Yeah, I think that's right. 3 out of 4.
Because I hadn't yet decided what my 5th one was.
It's like, yeah, I had his fucking number, man.
Yeah.
Did you have mine? I was the first to submit.
I don't remember, honestly. I know
you had one of them.
I know that something interesting in the 5 top runners, and again, I'm just going to do whatever I want, whatever I feel is best, because here's the thing, 3 of them are related to temperament.
Oh, shit.
And my problem with that is I feel like I will shoehorn you guys into a thing at that point, and I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
If this one is these are super manner people, these are super violent people, these are super neutral people. Well, if I pick one of those totems, then you guys have to act that way.
Right.
In the name of the totem. And that's not none of those things, none of those extremes are the vibes that you guys are throwing out yet. That's as close as to an answer you're going to get.
All right. Next question. Again, Ghost Paw. These are all from him.
Yeah, the rest of the show is Ghost Paw.
Specifically to Tom.
Oh.
What does your staff do?
It's fairy light. That's essentially all it is. It's just fairy light, but at the tip of the staff.
Yes, you don't get to fling it around, but...
Yep. I don't get to fling it around, but I essentially have a staff flashlight.
Yep. It's like a really long mag light.
Pretty much. It's think of it like Gandalf when he's using his staff to walk through tunnels.
12 D batteries. It's really fucked up.
Dude, I know.
Well, damn.
That's what I'm saying. It's a long staff.
It really hurts to get hit with.
And then this one specifically for me, I know it was briefly mentioned, but where did Ricochet get the worm sensing fetish? The backstory was that the previous pack he was with, they all died. He took it off the neck of one of those members. That was her fetish that she got. He took it in remembrance of her, and it's just worm sense.
Yeah, he's a dirty grave robber.
He's a grave robber.
Piece of crap.
It's
it's
just
called loot.
Thank you, CJ. Thank you. I looted it. Yeah. It's just sense worm. That's all it is.
Basically, yeah.
All right.
So a visual version of sense worm.
Well, it's our first fetishes. We're brand new. We don't want to have overpowered fetishes.
Right.
So
yeah.
let's take something simple.
No, exactly.
Next
Grand
question.
claves.
Yeah. No claves. No claves or grand claves.
I mean, we're rank 1. Somebody could come up and challenge for that Grand Clave, and
It's yours.
Oh,
gone.
falling leaf would just smack you in the back of the head, and you'd wake up a week later without anything. You'd be naked in the woods somewhere, going what the hell happened?
When will we hear more character backstory?
Hopefully, every single game,
Good point.
just bit by bit.
I mean, he's got a point. It's going to organically come out.
Does each of the characters have a most personal and favorite possession? And I'm going to say probably the Fang for me.
That you stole from your friends.
That I looted.
He looted. CJ.
With how Night Fang ended up in the nation, he doesn't really have much from his original life to have a prized possession. But I'm going to say in his backpack, there's going to be at least 1 or 2 issues of Detective Comics.
Nice.
They might have a few bullet holes in them by this point.
Maybe stop just ripping doors off at random.
Wait, those didn't go through you, so I don't know what you're talking about. I had to dig them out.
No,
That's a good point. Also,
true.
they were at the camp.
That's true.
So that's some magic bullet shit,
Yeah.
dude. That is some.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about Deadshot last night. That is some fucking.
So he has some unharmed comics. Awesome.
There we go. Mel?
Given her backstory and just her concept, I know it sounds sad, but she has nothing of value. She just, she doesn't have anything she values.
And there's
I
plenty
think
of time
the
for
only
that to
thing
change.
the only thing she does value, I would think, is her new companions.
Aw.
Aww.
I know that
You're just
sounds
objects
stupid,
to her.
but I think that's really the only thing that's stable in her life right now.
No, that's great. You know, this is not a wrong answer type scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously this is, again, it can change over time too. I love it.
Yeah. She
God,
could suddenly really hate the Night Fang
Wow.
and want his t-shirt.
He is the knight. Fang. I'm surprised that CJ, you didn't say his cape and cowl.
Oh, jeez.
He might be working on those.
Yes, they're in the bag. He's just too embarrassed to take them out in front of you guys.
Mine is just a toss-up. I want to say the staff because it was given to him by his mentor who passed away, but also his fanny pack because it holds all of his worldly possessions.
And it makes him look super cool.
Dude, come on. 93, 94 with a fanny pack, he looks awesome.
What is that, like a neon pink
It's neon
and yellow?
It's neon.
I
It's
was
like the
thinking-
yellowish green.
See, I was thinking like the halvesy. Like, you know, the top half was the yellow and the bottom half was pink.
It's you're close. It's the yellow and the green.
Okay.
It's
All
the
right.
yellow and the green. At least you knew where I was going with
I
it.
did. And that's crazy because we have not discussed this even
we
at all.
haven't at all. But you knew where I was going with
I did.
it. And it's a toss up. Like
Tell me I
obviously
don't know my players.
sentimental with the staff, but he's a strider. All his worldly possessions are in his fanny pack. So
All right.
it's a toss up.
All right.
I
Then
like
the
that
next
question.
That's a great question.
The next one, or two, do you trust each other and do you consider yourselves a pack yet?
Well, I'm jumping in on this. I don't trust them just yet because they ran off on me.
I was going to say the trust is being built.
Yes, definitely being
Yeah.
built. And I mean, I'm starting to consider us a pack. We've been together for 3 days.
I agree. Like, I think at this point it's like he's happy to have a pack now because they didn't last for long the first time. So, but yeah, the trust is getting there. But I think some bad decisions have been made to the point where it slowed that down.
It is definitely one of those. Just like it's going to be building up as they go. And like I will say, I think already has a bit more trust with Dante because Dante's already pulled bullets out of him. He could have done a lot worse. So
Somebody
gotta
likes my
extend some
fingers in
trust.
them.
Yikes.
Mm.
Oof.
I had to.
No, it's fair. It's
Yeah.
it is this show.
It had to happen.
See, Mel, look it. My mother's touch system is already making people friends and bonding.
Oh, she is
No,
shaking.
no, it's really not.
You just said. Thanks for listening to the podcast. That's 3 in 1 show.
Nice.
I think for Cassie, trust is an issue for her regardless, but she recognizes that these guys are the most stable influence that she has right now.
She called
So-
us stable.
Not
The
the word I've
most.
used.
And she's
That
got
she
a
has
fellow Black Fury
right
nearby.
now.
Seems like, yeah, we all have a...
Oh, that's totally by design.
I figured as much, but...
To make sure you had a representative of your tribe nearby.
All right, next question. What do each of the characters think is going on right now?
Not a clue.
No, I would agree.
Shit is hitting the fan every direction, and
Yep.
yeah, can't put a finger on it at all.
As a player,
Not a clue.
as someone who's been playing under Porter,
You know what? Just leave it in character
yeah,
because the out of character is going to come up later today, probably.
fair.
Not as
This
a part of
episode,
this show,
right.
but it's a part of another thing.
As far as the character goes, he has no clue. There's so much going on. We had at one time 4 different problems we have to deal with at once. It's chaos. There's too much going on for us to figure out what the fuck's happening.
It's a wild town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be honest, as a player and as the character, neither one of them have a clue. I have no idea what's going on.
Welcome to Porter's writing.
Yes.
Oh,
That thing's on that knife's edge of, do I need more yarn for the conspiracy board, or am I just going to let this happen and go with the flow?
We're gonna have a new conspiracy guy.
Sweet.
Getting replaced. Now it's no longer gonna be.
yeah, how do you feel about that?
I'm
Giving
okay
up-
with it.
It's a question from Porter. Danny, how do you feel about giving away your tinfoil hat to CJ? Will there be a rivalry, perhaps a tin joust for the king of that hill?
I'm okay
That's
with
too
Only if
points
Jaeger
usually.
shows up.
I'm okay with going with a singular thought and sticking to that. No more worrying about other shit going on. All right. Then for Porter, was Twilight really just fishing, or did he run away from the pack because of his own actions?
That's I like that question a lot. Because, you rarely get asked about NPC motivations. These are all new characters, but Falling Leaf at Twilight, he's the most finished. And I mean, you guys have read that write-up. He is not everything you think he is. So yes, you can do more things than one at a time. He was there to fish. Maybe he was there to cool his head and reset. Kind of the same
that.
way where he might have been interrupted in a cave while he was trying to meditate at one point.
Coming soon.
Is that coming soon?
It might either just happened or is about to happen.
Yeah, I don't
so-
remember which, but again, it's not a spoiler thing, really. But
Whoops.
yeah,
It's
maybe.
fine.
But yeah, Falling Leaf at Twilight has
Issues.
yeah.
I don't know, it's awesome, though. I mean, again, it's the fleshed out idea of who he is.
It's bringing life into that character.
What's the idea? You want your NPCs to be real people, so it matters when shit happens to them.
Mm-hmm.
So you form relationships with them, and that doesn't happen overnight. And especially when you have multiples, so like we have the Fire Force pack, La Magnifique.
It's a big pack.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of characters there. And it's, you gotta, you need to find those relationships. But yeah, with Falling Leaf, there's multiple things can be true. So let's go, yes.
Fair. And another one for Porter. Which is your favorite PC and why? Because they can't all be your favorite.
They can't. And joke's on y'all.
We're not established enough.
How about he answers it, not you?
I mean, that is the answer, is none of you, because you're not established enough. So the joke's on all y'all. Now I'm sure that'll be a different answer later on, but right now, story 3 is finished. I don't know these people yet. So, Vadoma Amen.
Parents don't have favorites.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
You love your children equally, but you like them different.
This is so true.
All right, then the last question, and again, thanks for Ghostpog for sending so fucking many of them. And
You're my boy, Blue.
specifically for me here, keep in mind this is only episode 3, but what made Ricochet become so sulky? How did he get to be like that, and wouldn't he be angry instead? I feel like when that happened, I guess that's part of what I said earlier about trying to distinguish between Jaeger and Ricochet.
Yeah, I think there was definitely some.
That was one of those things. That was one of those times where I wasn't playing the character correctly. I was playing a previous character, and that had a lot to do with us earlier in the day. We were recording for a postmortem.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not really an excuse, but
But
there's a
it's
reason
what
behind
happened.
it.
You were in the different character's headspace and then had to make that switch. And not for nothing, you're not super experienced with that because you haven't had the opportunity.
Right.
This is character 2 for you.
But at the same time, I don't know 100% Porter what he's thinking all the time. But I can sometimes get an idea of the direction he's going by what he's bringing towards on the table. So I felt like this pack that we were, essentially facing was there to help us. And I didn't portray that. Instead, I portrayed it as I feel like they're going against us, not with us. So it screwed me over. It screwed us as a pack over. And I was trying to replay it, going back to that character's mentality, not just be pissed off. Yes, he's an out-round. Yes, he's got higher rage. But like for me with that character, the rage is more of the combat part of it rather than, his headspace.
Well, I mean, it is going to bleed through to his headspace. That's just how that works. But it's funny you bring that up because I know that was something we talked way earlier about favorite moments, least favorite moments. And there was a point there, I think also in the first episode.
Probably.
Where I was listening back and was really pissed off at my take on something.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like there are times, like when we're listening to episodes, because, you got to listen to the edit, make sure the edit's okay and, did it post right and whatever. So we hear an episode a couple times. And there'll be times when, like, it's been a while. Mm-hmm. And I know you guys do this too. You'll make a joke at the podcast while it's going on. Like Danny will say something, you'd be like, and then like a half second later, you say it on air.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it so many times.
I've done it. Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've done it in editing.
Right?
Like, oh,
it's
man.
Like you didn't know it was coming. That's just where your heart was. And look, my heart was there in the day. But when Falling Leaf was trying to explain to you guys why y'all the bad guys in this situation, himself included, that was all ad lib. So I guess it was chapter 2 or 1, 2 or chapter 2. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Not important. Sorry. When he was trying to explain that to you guys. And I'm listening to the argument that I gave again, which was ad lib. And I was so mad that I failed to point out that Far4 just ate shit in front of you guys. Mm-hmm. That not only did he get ambushed by Kylindo Joe and 3 of his guys got taken out, right? Not only did he extend the olive branch and back down during this fight, right?
He was embarrassed.
Right. He got his ass kicked in front of a bunch of teenagers who are now making smarty boy remarks and getting strong. Mm. So there was a level of saving face he's having to do there. He's been beaten twice and humiliated. Mm-hmm. And then like the 15-year-old bone gnawer's going like, where's your place, jerk? After he offered, come back to my place and we'll have a couple drinks and settle this, which is absolutely against his instincts, like I wish that, because obviously Falling Leaf can understand that. Yeah. I just in the moment didn't think to bring that argument up. And I was so bummed out hearing me not do that. It's like, fuck, hindsight, you idiot.
Yep.
I know exactly what you're thinking. Yeah.
That's it.
That's the last question.
That's the last one.
That's the end of the Ghost Ball Corner.
Yeah, well, then it's the last questions, too.
Yeah, that was the last question.
So, that's our show.
Yeah. All of you guys who threw in those questions, thank you so much. So greatly appreciated. And this was a fun episode to put together.
Yes, keep those coming.
Yes, there's plenty more show to go. Mel, CJ, it was so great to have you guys with us on this one. I'm really glad we were able to make this happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was fantastic. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
But people need to ask more questions about CJ's character and mine. Just saying, just throwing it out there.
Well, and then here's the thing, though, is like we know, because at the time we didn't know you guys were going to be able to make those. In fact, there was a point where we thought about having you guys write your responses and then read them back.
Right, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like
just in case.
Right, but this is so much better. So yeah, guys, you got questions to any of us, whatever. Mm-hmm. We will do them. This is fun, and
we'll do it again if we get enough of them.
There you go. English is hard.
Yeah,
is it crazy? But that is our show for this week. Thank you again so much for tuning in, as always. On behalf of everybody here at Terrestrial Studio, Melissa, CJ, Danny Tyson, Tommy Dixon, and myself, we want to say thank you for your support. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Keep your claws sharp. Your head in a swivel. We'll see you. It's like 12D batteries. It's really fucked up.
Dude, I know.
12, damn.